So I think so. I think I set that up wrong. I think I set that up wrong. All right. So if you're here, come over to this channel.
Oh, okay.
So I think so. I think I set that up wrong. I think I set that up wrong. All right. So if you're here, come over to this channel.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Now I think we're cooking with gas. Yeah, zero anxiety in my body. But I think I got it now. But Jelan, where did you go?
I had to turn the fan on because it's the cold is going away.
Listen, praise God. Are we not, is this not glorious? It's back out again. Is the coconut oil back melted once again?
Come on. We melted again.
Are
Thank
we
the
back?
Lord.
Are we back in this? You know what I'm saying?
We melting. Thank the Lord. Thank the
So
Lord. We
grateful.
reached
Listen,
next week.
okay, seriously. I have never, okay, this is not the way that I'm used to this going. Um, but we gonna work it out. I am grateful that you are here and that you, let's see, can I make you a co-host? Do I need to do that? Um, I'm grateful that you're here. I am grateful that you agreed to do this with me. And okay, boom. Now we got both of our names on the screen. Wow, I did not mean for this to be the first time I was doing this. How about that? I thought I knew how this worked.
So is this on
Apparently I do.
streaming on
I do
YouTube
now.
now, live?
Apparently I
Okay.
it is.
All right.
It is streaming on YouTube.
Amen.
All right.
Amen.
It only took a few minutes. Thank you so much for your patience and for
Of
playing
course.
with me as we figured this thing
Of
out. I
course.
thought I knew what I was doing. I found out that I now know what I'm doing. Okay. So welcome, Jelan. I'm so excited. Thank you so much for agreeing to do this with me and learn on the spot
Thank you.
accidentally.
Thank
Did
you.
not know that was going to be the request, but I'm so grateful you agreed. So
Yay.
I'm excited about today because we're talking about energy for the frolic, energy for the assignment. What does it mean
Mm,
to be a Black woman healing abroad after 40?
mm.
Now, Jalan, we talk often, and I'm really stoked that you agreed to do this because we speak so often and particularly around this idea of healing inadvertently, right? I feel like we talk about healing quite a bit, even if it's not, using those words, but we talk about healing stuff, healing activities, right?
Right.
Before we get started, can you just tell the people who you are, um, and what it is you do from your perspective?
Hello, all. My name is Jelan. I am a woman of whimsy. I am a professional frolicker. In my past life, I was a therapist, and now I speak. I'm a motivational speaker. I'm a coach, and I'm in a transformation. And I love talking about transformation and coaching women through transformation, and not just surface level, very much core level. So I am very happy to be alive every day of my life. Rose.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay, perfect. I had to change my connection. All right. So I love that you say that you are happy to be alive every day of your life because I think that's an important thing to say. Has it
It's an
always,
important distinction.
what's that?
It's an important distinction.
Yeah. Has it always been that way?
Absolutely not. No. It's a recent discovery.
Okay. Tell me about that. What does that what does that mean that it was a recent discovery?
Um, I was writing about it earlier today. I think that in my past life, I was doing a lot of outsourcing my identity to things that appeared to be successful to society. I had the house, I was a homeowner, I had a business, I was teaching at a university, you know, on paper, successful business, on paper. Everything that I was supposed to do to make me happy was in place, and I was miserable. And all of that has fallen out from the bottom because that's a part of this process of essentially a death and a rebirth. And it, as a part of my rebirth, um, creating things that make me joyful, engaging in things that make me joyful, engaging in things that light me up have completely transformed me and my life from the inside and the outside. So it's essentially a death and a rebirth is the process that I'm talking about.
Okay. You know, I'm a Scorpio, so I love a good transformation
Come on,
story.
come on.
What do you, so how do, mm, I have so many questions that came up all at the same time. Okay. How did you get to the death and rebirth piece of
Yeah.
things?
Well, I'm very stubborn. So I needed rock bottom in order to die, essentially. Um, and can you hold on 1 second? I'm sorry.
Yes, absolutely. Real life.
All right.
Listen, so in this brief commercial break, if you are watching and you are in the chat, please let us know, have you ever had a death and rebirth story? I feel like I'm so excited for Jelan to tell us more about this. I think about from my perspective, when it comes to dying, so many times I tell people, I've told clients, you know, in order to get the life that you want, the life of your dreams, you have to be willing to give up the life
Mm-hmm.
you have, right? And so often we focus on having the life of your dreams, living the life of your dreams, but we don't really think about that dying piece.
Mm,
Like you really do, right? It's scary. Just like if it's a physical, you know, a physical death, it's you literally become you get reborn. And I feel like there's so many times in my journey, in my life, that I can specifically remember a moment feeling like, oh, I've been reborn.
mm.
Tell us a little bit about that, your
Yeah.
experience
Um,
with that rebirth.
so yeah, I'm very stubborn. So sometimes it takes for me to hit the wall. In my case, the hit the wall was a rock bottom where I ended up in the ICU. And
Mm,
it's fascinating because at the time I ended up in the ICU. Like I said, I was running a successful business. I was teaching at a university. I was a homeowner and landlord, very successful on paper. But I realized now that that was a performance. So essentially, my body got tired of performing and ended up in the ICU. And I remember kind of being in between this world and the next world and really just evaluating what's important to me. And when I left the hospital, it that was 5 years ago, and since then I have completely transformed my life. But what has helped me transform in that death, the rebirth, is like a remembering. It's like refinding what's actually important to me and what actually lights me up from the inside. And through exploring those things and being curious, I have experienced the transformation in that exploration. So that's a part of it. Of in the rebirth is exploration. There's still failure, there's still rejection, right? There's still life happening.
yeah.
And honoring that the little girl, right? Honoring the 5-year-old version of me who essentially had to die to be successful in whatever corporate hellscape we're all trying to ascend in. and just allowing her to frolic and be and be herself has been the rebirth, which has been amazing.
Wait a minute. So I heard you say you died twice. So first off, you had to die to be successful in the corporate capitalist structure,
Yeah.
right? To reach it, you had to, and I don't want to put words in your mouth, but when you say die, um, what I imagine that you're saying is neglect a piece of yourself.
Suppress.
Suppress,
Yes.
come on now, suppress.
Yeah.
Suppress a piece of yourself in order to be successful or to have what appeared to be success, right? Within these systems, to achieve
Hmm.
the level of success that we were told is success, you
Right.
had to die. And
Right.
then get to the place where you love being alive meant that the person who survived and succeeded
Right.
within that system had to die in order for you to come back to yourself who you were
Correct.
initially. Come on now.
Correct. Correct. It's a cycle, and it's a cycle, like you said, that we do throughout our lives. But yeah, essentially, from 5 year old, I feel like there were 1,000 mini deaths because I was a creative child. If anybody's creative, then you know how it is. I was a creative child. I was loud. I sing, I danced, I did all the things. But we know throughout the school system, which is just preparing us to be workers, I had to all of those parts of me had to leave so that I could be structured enough to be successful in school. And it's almost like a trade off. So I was very successful in school, and then I got a hunger for that achievement, for that success. So as the parts of me are dying away, I'm getting, I'm on paper, I'm successful. And then you build up this identity based on that. And yes, that identity had to essentially die to birth this identity, which it happens in a 10-year cycle. So I'm assuming a couple years from now there'll be another one. But in this current reality, I could witness all the tiny deaths. You're too loud, you're too extra. All the feedback you get from the environment that tells you your energy is too big. There's a thousand deaths that make you do this, and then you become successful when you do this, so that
Woo!
it becomes who you are. Until for me, my body gave out and was like, I'm not, I don't know what you're doing, but I'm not doing this no more.
The body.
Mm,
I love that you said that, right? Because our bodies are so intelligent.
mm-hmm,
So when you said your body gave out, I couldn't help but think about, by the way, everyone who's here, Jelana is the first guest that I'm having as part of this series I'm calling Healing Abroad. And it really came out of the healing work that I feel like started doing when I moved to Mexico 8 years ago, but really came to a head last year when I started healing my back from sciatica and healing my body from sciatica and bursitis. And I had to change everything about how I worked, what I allowed, what I ate, what kind of movement I was doing, right? Because my body was talking. My body just said, no, we're not doing that no more.
mm,
Right. So the hours of laying across on my stomach, across the bed, watching all the subscription streaming services or eating from the delivery apps twice a day. Nope. Um, right, like not being active, sitting in an office desk chair all day, 8 hours straight, either working on the job stuff or the business stuff. No, no, we're not doing that.
mm,
Right. So I love that because we've talked about in this concept. I feel like this term gets thrown around, embodiment.
mm, mm-hmm,
And we kind of talked about that, right? Like the journey of reconnecting with our bodies. You said your body gave out. But recently, we talked about you coming into a different relationship or forming another relationship with your body.
mm-hmm.
Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, it as a part of the performance. I'll speak for myself. I had to disconnect my mind from my body
Yeah.
because I
Yeah.
had to be numb in order to engage in this performance that I was doing every day. Hi, good morning. How's everybody doing? To me, that I had to disengage. So my body has been disengaged for so long
Yeah.
that the like you said, the embodiment is coming out of my head and dropping into my body. And what I know about a lot of us high achieving women is
Come
that
on.
we can intellectualize everything. We can tell, as a therapist, I could tell you what's going on, but was my body involved? Was I
Oh,
present in those things? Absolutely not. So, embodiment really is re engaging the body. And since I moved to Mexico, I lost 64 pounds and I really lost the last 40 since last summer. And it really has been a practice of feeling my body, of sending energy to different places in my body, because there's a lot of body shame that comes up also too with growing up plus size or growing up, in a dark skinned body. So repairing the relationship for my mind and my body has also helped in this healing journey of recognizing that this is my vessel, for the time I'm on this planet, and honoring it for that.
yeah, legit. Like this the only one I got. This is
Right.
the for real ride or die. Like
Right.
this ain't no new. You might be able to replace a hip or a knee, but baby, the body itself as a whole entity,
Yeah.
you only get one.
Yeah.
I was thinking about that as I was getting a massage this morning before our call. As a result, which regular massages, I went to massage school, so I understand the body from again from an intellectual perspective,
Logical. Yep.
right? But it was only when I hurt my back. I was forced. I really didn't feel like I had a choice. I began to get weekly massages.
Mm,
And as I began to get these massages, right, and they were like 90 minutes, 2 hours long every week. And at first, it felt like a luxury, a bonus. And then I began to notice that, and these weren't like spa massages, let me be clear. These were for real practitioners who were like looking for where the pain was so that they could lean in on the pain so that the pain would go away.
mm,
Right. And I think about, ooh, how that relates to this journey. Whereas typically, wherever there's pain, no, we ignore that, avoid that, numb that, suppress that, pretend like that don't exist, sweep that under
mm,
the rug. And that's not just physical pain. That's how we go through life because that's the standard, I feel like, in the States
mhm.
and within most capitalist structures. No, act like that don't exist. Take something for that so you can come to work.
Right.
Focus on what's really important.
Medicated.
Ignore your body. Your
Mhm.
body, you know what I mean? Just we need this work done. We need this project knocked out. You need to see these clients.
Yep.
And so to get to a place where you are literally existing in the polar opposite, where no, let me tap in.
Mhm.
What does for me that's healing.
Mm.
That's what healing is. When we can move from what we used to do and see it clearly. Maybe mm, and maybe you don't see it clearly. Maybe you only see what you're not doing no more clearly. What you can't do no more clearly.
Right.
What does healing mean for you?
That's a great question. I think I think healing, for the word that's coming up for me, is humanness. I feel like so much of what's required to be successful is to strip the humanness so you become a machine. And I feel like healing is returning to your humanness. And what I mean by humanness is I'm hungry, so I'm going to eat now, not when the clock tells me. What is my natural rhythm of sleep? I don't even know that. What does my body enjoy doing? What feels energizing to me? That's what I think of human, and I think the most accurate humans we can look at as children. Children are professional frolickers, okay? They are wrapped up in their whimsy and they ain't caring about what is going on around them. To me, healing is humanness, and humanness is a childlike nature that makes you curious about the world around you. To me, that's what healing is. But it
Mm.
takes a lot of layer shedding because of all the layers we built on top of our humanness to operate in a system that requires us to be machines.
You know, that's a word if a word ever been worded.
Come on, word. Come on, word.
Because you're right. I think about all of the times I've heard either directly or indirectly a Black woman say, "Well, I don't have time to pay attention to my body." Essentially,
Mm-hmm,
I don't have time to be curious. I don't
mm-hmm,
have time to all of the things that you've just said
mm-hmm,
that are part of the healing journey. And I just want to draw a straight line that healing, what death, healing had to occur. Death and healing had to occur in order
mm-hmm.
for happiness to exist.
Right, right.
Were you fulfilled before?
In some ways, yes. And here's what's coming up for me too. When you attach your identity to a title, you are limiting your potential and your purpose.
Mm,
There was a time in my life when I thought being a therapy was my purpose. I was incorrect. That is simply one way my purpose manifests.
mm,
So if we could step back from assigning the identity to the title, to the credential, to the job, and recognize that it is simply one manifestation of our purpose, it might help us be able to start this journey. So was I fulfilled? In some ways, yes, because part of my purpose is to be a guide and a teacher and a facilitator. I was just under the title of therapist, thinking that that was the only way that I could fulfill that purpose. And that was incorrect. So that was one of the first things that had to fall away from my identity when I left the ICU, which is why I always say I was a therapist in my past life, because it's simply one manifestation of my purpose. It is not who I am, and it's not who I will be.
yeah. I think purpose and assignment are interchangeable. I use those interchangeably. When you think about what your purpose or your assignment is,
Hmm.
what gives you the energy now
Yeah.
to pursue that? Like, where do you get the energy from? Because most people are, we ain't got the energy for it.
I just be so curious. Like, I've always been like, I just want to know how things work. I want to observe people. I want to see them. Like, I love observing cultures and just seeing how people eat, seeing how they talk to their kids. Like, I'm just so curious about humans that that gives me the passion to, and that's why, becoming a therapist, I can observe humans all day. It's what I did.
Yeah.
So it felt like, yeah, I was in my purpose, but I love observing humanness and aliveness. And that gives me the energy to continue my thing. Like, my latest discovery is that kids everywhere are the same. I done heard kids be cursed out in Spanish, in French, in Russian by their parents. And I'm watching the kids' faces and and I'm like, okay, so that's not kids misbehaving. That's simply how little humans act. To me, that was a theory, and that was me fulfilling that theory in this scientific experiment. My life is a scientific experiment. That's what gives me the purpose and the push. Everything is a scientific experiment.
Did you have this same perspective before? Now we kind of brushed over. I didn't ask your permission about that 5 years. I didn't ask if you were okay with us.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, bring it,
Okay.
bring it in.
Okay. So the 5 year situation, that's a huge. So for everyone who doesn't know, what happened 5 years? What did you just celebrate 5 years of? I mean, you kind of touched on
Celebrated
it.
5 years of sobriety from alcohol. One of the
Um,
ways that I numbed that separation between my mind and my body was through alcohol. And so I had an alcohol addiction, and I was also depressed, which, if you think you have a mental health disorder, go get sober first. I just want to put that out there. So yeah, I just celebrated 5 years sober from alcohol, and after I stopped numbing, come on,
Wait, I had a.
come on.
I'm like, it's the only noise make I got.
Yes. So that's a part of the separate me moving away from being numb. And once I stopped being numb, then all of these things started coming back alive. And I even remember being like, were colors always this bright, or is this like, everything became different when my mind was sober. And then once my mind got sober, I started to re-engage my body. It was just this kind of top down vortex of awareness. I don't know if that makes any sense.
Was that a pleasant experience?
It no, no, let me no. Most of this shit has not been pleasant. Okay, you numb for 20 years, and all of a sudden, I can see the colors, right? But that means I can also feel my pain.
Mm.
That means all of the emotional stuff that I suppressed was coming back up. That means all of the me that I suppressed was coming back up. And I remember being in this, when I meditate with all the versions of me from 5 to 10 to 15. They're all in this circle. And I remember the 5-year-old being like, oh, okay, welcome back. And the 8-year-old being like, oh, so you thought you was going. I'm like, no, it was not pleasant. Not all of it is not pleasant. But as I continue to move through it, the joy in the journey comes from removing those layers of like performance.
Yeah. So even though the work was hard, what I'm hearing you say is it was absolutely worth it.
Oh, it's worth it. It's so worth it. It's like working out, right? Does it always feel good when you're in that 10th squat? No.
Oh, Lord.
But is your booty gonna look good? Absolutely. Same
And it
concept.
feels good. The interesting thing is in the moment, no, it does not feel
Right.
good, but
Right.
it feels great.
It
You
does.
feel so energized.
Empowered
Yes, and strong.
and strong.
You're like, yeah, I did
Yes.
that.
Yes.
Right? Like I
Yes.
think about again, I think about the massage. I can't help but because I've been now I don't get them every week. I do bi-week every other week. But this week I was doing, I don't know, deadlifts or something with the trainer. And my knee, I started and like not squats, but backwards lunges. And I felt something happen in my knee.
Mm.
And uh-uh. I told the massage therapist. And she started working on my thigh. She said, apparently, the tendon that's connected to your
Mm.
knee is, and when I girl, the pain,
Mm.
and all I could do was,
That's it.
I mean, the pain, I can't say it was unbearable because I was bearing it, right?
Right.
But the breathing, I mean, fully present, and then it was gone.
Mm.
Then the pain was come. I was like, this, they say ain't nobody in playa, but lesbians and witches. And I was
Well,
like, this witch right
it's magic. It's
Dixon.
magic.
Because I mean that thing. The coming back to where
But that's a
you
great parallel, right? That's a great parallel. It's the tendon leading to the knee, right? So the knee is not the issue. It's the tendon leading to the knee. And then you breathe. When you started breathing, I was like, yeah, because that's you just sometimes it's gonna hurt. And you breathe through it. You don't stop doing it. You don't take something,
no.
you breathe through it, and then you get to the other side of it, and things are different.
Oh, Jelan, that's the skill that we miss.
That's it.
We miss the breathing through. We don't, that breathing, I think about, oh, so many people that I talk to who just want it to be over with. They want
Mm,
to fast forward that part, but at that part, they play Sims all the time. So they like, no, we're just gonna avoid that part. We're gonna
yeah,
make sure that no hurt happens. And
yeah,
it's like, but how do you truly experience the fullness thereof?
right, right,
All of the amazing, all of the colors. Like, how do you experience all of that
right,
unless you go through, like, you acquire
right, right.
the
There's a
skill
phrase
of
that says
breathing through it?
the only way to peace is through hell.
Wow.
I've been to hell. I've been there. You know,
We know what that's like.
you know what it's like. Know it so much that I ain't never going back. So I better breathe.
What
I
did it
better breathe
take?
through it.
What did it take for you to get to a place where you said, I'm never going back?
Uh, Again, I am stubborn. So when I can't go back, a lot of doors close, and I get a lot of no's and I get a lot of rejection and nothing works.
Hmm.
So sometimes it takes for everything to close me out for me to recognize that's not the road I need to be going down.
Okay. Everything to close out.
Thing closed, nothing working out.
Mm.
I keep getting no's. I keep getting. I'm like, oh, okay. And then because my business is in a parallel transformation process to me. So now, as I lost 40 pounds, now my old business is nothing. Nothing was working. Nothing was
Mm.
working. I
It
knocked
don't
on
fit.
doors. I sent emails. Nothing was working, and then I really evaluated. Like, do I actually the offers that I was making are those things that I care about now? No, the old version of me created my business. Duh, that business can't come with me. Duh. So sometimes it's like, hold on. Do I even care about these things? Are these things important to me? Are these things aligned with where I am right now? Sometimes that's the question. And the answer is no, which is once again scary because, okay, now what do I do? But I feel like, okay, now what do I do is evidence that you're healing.
The invitation
It's the
to the next
invitation.
level. Woo! Woo! Are you going to accept the invitation?
Are you going to accept? And sometimes we don't. We keep knocking on them doors and people looking at us like, why she keep coming over here? Oh,
Let me ask you something. What kind of support did you have as you made, or what do you have now as you're making this transition? Or how valuable is support? And what support, yeah, do you
so
have?
I have at the time where I ended up in the ICU and all of that was going on, I had a therapist and she saved my life. I just texted her the other day when I got to my 5 year, like, girl, this is where I'm at. Look at me now, girl. Look, thank you. Okay, thank you. The support I have now is community.
Come on
Uh,
now.
it the community I have
What that look like?
is a reflection. So what I felt like in the past was I would say things and they would fall flat because whatever they were too deep or too whatever for people I was around. But now I say things and I'm reflected in those things, and the person responds back, and it just feels like a synergy, an energy that gives me the permission to continue to be weird because a lot of this exploration is weird. But I also have been reading some really transformative books, which I have here. The Artist's Way changed my damn.
Yes.
The Four Desires by Rod Stryker changed my damn life. And Never Split the Difference changed my damn life. So those are three books I read last year that I'm implementing and embodying. And that's the piece that people miss too. When you take information in, you got to apply it in your life for it to work.
Now, that's next level right there.
Because I know a lot
That's,
of higher achievers, we hoard information, but
listen,
implementing and embodying, that's when the transformation happens. It's in the
Jelan,
do.
You know, I started a book club like 2 years ago.
Mm,
And every month we read a new book. And after 12 books, 13 books, 14
mm,
books, I said, I don't want to read no more books.
mm.
And I felt some kind of way about that because I had this epiphany that I wanted to apply everything that I was reading.
Yeah,
I didn't
yeah,
want to just read.
right,
I wanted to see my life shift as a result of doing these things that I was reading about.
correct, right.
And I realized that all the people in the book club didn't want to do that.
Mm,
Here I
yeah,
am in this space, so stoked that we're reading these books. You know, I was an accounting major in college. So I took one Black history class and dropped it, hated it. I was like, I studied Black history and feminist literature after college.
mm,
That was right. So our first book was all about love, bell hooks. And, you know, I mean, we're reading stuff that I envisioned
yeah,
that James Baldwin and Josephine Baker, those original expats, are
yeah,
earlier on, right? The
right.
one,
They paved the
right? When
way.
they
Thank
were a part
y'all.
of Harlem Renaissance, right? Thinking
Yep.
about the movement of Black folks doing this thing and doing our thing. And here I am thinking, okay, let's start something, right? But I didn't think about the part about, yeah, we actually gotta make room, leave space for the application after the learning.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
important. That's vital. That's
It
the
is.
difference between, in my opinion,
That's the difference.
information and wisdom.
Mm, yeah,
Information and knowledge.
right,
Because just because you can remember something and spit it back out, don't mean you actually know that thing.
right, right, right.
That's a different
Mi-
level of knowing.
Might I add that hoarding information is another form of avoidance.
The therapist said it, not me, just putting that out there.
It's another form of
Wait, as I sit in front of my bookshelf, but I'm reading these books. I'm applying these books.
yes, read and apply, read it. But I think that is the application is the breathing, right? It's the way we take in and release the information and allow our bodies to, because I don't have the best memory. That's why I didn't go into law or medicine, because I can't remember nothing. But your body remembers what you read. And as you apply it, your body will begin to embody the things you read. So one of the artist way, I know a lot of people talk about it, but my biggest takeaway from that book was to create for creation's sake, not for attachment to an outcome, or not because you're looking for something. It's because creating is the way you breathe. So it gave me permission to create and enjoy the process of creating. That was the biggest shift in my life. And she says in the book that you are allowed to create bad art, because perfectionism too is a form of avoidance. I said perfectionism too is a form of avoidance. So creating for creation's sake allows you, gives you permission to make bad art. But the fact that you're creating is the important part, not the outcome. And that's what our school systems teach us, is connection to outcome, which makes a machine, versus connection to process, which is our humanness. Hello?
Damn, I felt that in my body.
That's why the kids have so much fun. They're not drawing and painting because they want the outcome. They love the colors and the process and the way it feels. It's the humanness.
So coming back to ourselves. So you mean focusing on the journey instead of the destination?
Yes. Because there is no true destination,
Mm, yeah, because every destination turns into another one.
especially when you have what I call achievement addiction, where you
So
check off one achievement and before the ink is dry on your paper, you already
next,
looking for the next you're already looking for the next achievement, because that's also avoidance.
I think about how living in the US, learning in the US has trained us that like that robot um behavior, robotic behavior
Mm-hmm.
is what is that's what our body knows, right? And when you
Mm-hmm.
said when you implement what you've read, your body remembers, I instantly thought about muscle memory. Like you no longer have to keep it up here.
Right.
You don't have to remember, your body remembers. You a therapist. What happens to a mind that is no longer trying to remember all of the
Mm.
things?
It's free. It's free to explore and be curious and create theories and prove some of them right and prove some of them wrong and expand experience.
Yeah. Okay. The three books that you mentioned, Artist Way, I heard Never Split the Difference. What was the second one?
It's called The Four Desires by Rod Stryker. And the very interesting thing about that book is that I found it in a book exchange here in Mexico.
Love it. Love it.
And it was just it was sitting there waiting for
I
me.
love a good free book find. That's
Okay.
perfect for where you at.
It was it was
I
sitting there. I was
love
like,
when
oh,
that happens.
desires. Yeah. It, it,
I
it
love when that happens.
that's another piece of this journey, is the synchronicities, right? Sometimes you don't know what's going on, but you might have a thought, and then you meet somebody who says what you were okay, says what you were thinking, all right, and then you're in a bookstore and you see a book and you're like, oh, that seems interesting. Let me pick that up. But you have to be in your body for those kind of experiences.
Mm-hmm. It's kind of magical, right? Like, do you
It,
ever feel like, because, I feel like growing up, we always watched movies where this kind of stuff would happen to people,
right.
where they would think something and then something would magically show up in their path and their journey that would be connected to their thought or connected to something somebody said the other, right? But as you're talking, I'm wondering, is it because we're disconnected from our bodies that we miss those synchronicities?
Yeah. Yeah. Awareness is important. Like recently, I've had to stop using my earphones so much because my ears feel sensitive. So
Mm.
I used to walk around all day with my earphones in, and now I don't have my earphones in. And now I'm hearing sounds and birds and language and so many things. And what it's helped me recognize is those things were always there. I just didn't have the awareness. And so a lot of the journey is not about the things not being there. It's about the ability to have awareness. So I want you to physically see me taking the earphones out. That's what healing is. You take the earphones out. So I hear the good, but I hear the bad too. Because sometimes I'm like, I don't want to hear that conversation in French. I don't want to hear what they're talking about. So it's good and bad, but it's awareness that would not have happened if something didn't shift in your reality.
Mhm. Jelan, I could talk to you. I feel like I could talk to you forever. Well, I'm gonna have you back on. Um, Talk to me about frolicking. Where did this concept come from? What we doing with this? Because I love it. I don't think I'd ever heard. I saw some people mentioning it on social, but I don't think anybody voice to my ear had ever
Yeah.
said it until I heard you say it. So talk to me about frolicking and what is this? What you doing?
So frolicking really is putting your awareness on the journey and not the destination. So the other day when we frolicked, yeah, we
Yeah,
frolicked for like 6 hours.
I got
And
20,000 steps that day. I just
okay, but we didn't have a destination. We didn't know where we were going. We didn't know what we were going to come across. It was kind of like, oh, what's over there? Oh, it's letting curiosity lead. It's letting yourself have experiences. It's not being attached to the outcome. It's just allowing yourself to be present. So frolicking for me is turning into, I'm going to work it into my branding somehow, of like frolicking through life is having the humanness in life, is being childlike, it's being curious, it's being observant, it's being aware of all the things that are around you. So frolicking is I feel like it's key to healing, because sometimes you leave the house and you don't know what you're looking for, or maybe you're not looking for anything, but the things that are looking for you may find you along the way.
Ooh, the things that are looking for you may find you along the way.
And that's the
Frolic,
magic.
yeah, that is the magic. That is absolutely the magic. What do Black women over 40 need to know
Hmm.
in
Black
order
women
in order to frolic?
Black women over 40, I think one of the big things is to give yourself permission to exist, outside of the titles, outside of the credentials, to simply exist. One of my metaphors is like, everybody talks about impact and they think impact is really, really big. But for example, trees don't move, but they have an impact on everything around them. They have an impact on the ecosystem. So allowing yourself to exist is really important in order to frolic. Allowing yourself to simply exist in your humanness, in your awareness, in your childlike nature, giving yourself permission to do so. Like if you want to skip, if you have the urge to skip, if you have the urge to dance, if you have the urge to sing, if you have the urge to do something, allowing yourself to do it without connection to the outcome, right? Simply because it's a desire coming from your body.
I think that's so powerful because when you said we need to heal or heal, frolicking is a part of the healing. As you were talking, what I really heard was we get to act a fool in public and
Hmm.
not worry about being a representative of your family, your sorority, your church, your you get to dance in the checkout line
Okay.
and not worry about what people might be thinking.
Right.
Who cares?
I mean, life is short, and
If you
well,
enjoy, look, if you're having a good time, it's short.
that's true. That's true. So have a good time as much as you can.
Oh, short when you having fun. But
Listen,
baby, when life is miserable, whoo, that thing long.
long and arduous.
Less.
But I think the biggest thing is allowing yourself to be human. And
Mhm.
like you said, especially for Black women, we get caught up in being the representation of, and
Ooh,
feeling like we have to alter our states of being to engage in certain areas or certain rooms, which might be necessary. But I want you to assess your desire to be in that room in the first place. That's really what it's about. Like, okay, you have to perform in that room. Why do all the rooms you enter require performance?
woo. Come on now.
How
Questions
come,
that need answers. QTNA.
yes, how come there's no rooms that don't require performance as a part of your life?
Mm, I love that. That's a great place to wrap this thing up. So what's next for you? Where can we find you?
What's next for me? See, I'm in my frolicking.
Love it.
No,
Frolic.
I
Yeah.
think I think what's next for me is I would love to, I'm coaching women through transformation. It is a passion of mine to kind of help women unwind some of these layers that they've put on themselves, and enter into their frolic stage and their whimsy era. But for now, I am creating. Instagram is my creative outlet.
Yeah.
So whatever my gut desires to create will be on Instagram. And I'm still doing speaking. I have a keynote speech at a university next month. So I'm still speaking about joy and transformation. And this is what I love to do. It's what I love to talk about. So definitely Instagram, definitely LinkedIn, and the journey will be there.
Okay. And I'll put your links in the description, in the caption, so that people can see them. Um, we talked about something. I don't know if it's on the low yet, but in terms of women, you helping facilitate women having time to frolic. Do you want to say a little bit something like that, that space of time away from work?
Yes, yeah. Oh, thank you. Thank you. So in my inadvertently as a therapist, I wrote a couple of letters for women to take FMLA because their jobs were burning them out. But now I'm realizing that as a part of a sabbatical, as a period away from work, um, creating things so that I can work with you to do an assessment, a couple sessions, and write your letter for FMLA so that you can take 3 to 6 weeks off of work and really enter your frolic stage. And we're not saying you won't go back, but you'll go back different. I do have one client who, in week 2 of her 6 weeks, she was like, "I ain't going back." but that's not everybody. So I do have that offering of working with women towards their sabbatical by writing their FMLA letter and working with them through assessment and some sessions.
Come on now. Frolicking on your FMLA to frolic. This
Okay,
is what
FMLA
I'm
to frolic
talking about.
pipeline. That's what I'm doing right
Yay!
now.
FMLA to Frolic Pipeline. Let's go. Jelan, you were one of the top supporters of me taking FMLA last year. Um, and I am just so grateful that you are offering that. You are a qualified professional. I have a call scheduled today with one of my coworkers who wants to take an FMLA.
Mm,
And I think it's so valuable the work that you're doing on yourself. Okay. The work you're
yeah,
doing on yourself is so
yeah.
valuable because everything else that all the other people that you serve only, they're only getting a small portion. It's like the ripple effect of what you're doing for
Mm,
yourself.
right.
And I am just so grateful to you for doing your own work. It is not a lot of people who do their own work, especially living in a beach town where there's literally a party every night happening.
Okay.
Right. So choosing to get in your body is such an intentional choice. It is not automatic. And I am just so grateful that you are making that choice for yourself, for us, the wider community who get to benefit and see your beautiful face frolicking around town.
Come on. I'm
It's
about to
just
go
such
frolic
a,
right now.
I love it. Well, listen, if you are tuned in, I just want to say thank you for tuning in. It has been such an awesome time. I'm so excited about um frolicking more. This has been an amazing conversation. I'm so glad that Jelan, you stuck with me through the tech issues and that you accepted my invitation. Y'all, I'm Coach Tish. This is all about healing abroad. That's the journey I'm on. Healing abroad is not just healing outside of the US, it is also taking the time to heal outside of what the US has taught us, right? Abroad isn't just about location, it's also about a state of mind. And I am of the belief that if we truly want to be happy, if we truly want to be fulfilled, if we truly want to be free, it is required that we began to do some of the things that Jelan and I have talked about today. If this has served you, please let us know. Comment below. I'm going to place Jelan's contact info and my contact info in the caption. But thank you for joining us. It has been such an amazing
Y'all.
talk and conversation. So I will see y'all next time.
Frolic away, y'all.
Let's see.